Perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Athlete Era Football Canada app webinar here. We're going to keep things hopefully nice, quick, concise, but informative today. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this gets this app in more hands and more coaches, and we get more coaches from doing so. So we'll kind of get into it. Some things we'll be looking at today is, why this app came to be, how it fits within our coach development. And then, as you can see on the second half there, Corey will actually do a mobile and web app walkthrough so you can see what it looks like and how you can get involved, and how to start out. Now, this is really key for organizers to understand this process to make things easy, because without understanding how simple this is to do and to start, then this app won't get in the right hands or the right people. So we just want to make sure, pay attention to all parts of this presentation, but really when it comes to that app, how to use it, how to start, pay attention to that. So my name's Scott Wolosh, and I'm the manager of coach and officials development here at Football Canada. And I'm joined with Corey Eatington from Athlete Era, the people who created this app. And we're going to be taking you through this webinar today. So we'll go next slide here and kind of talk about our goals and initiative with some coach development here. So I wrote out some coach development goals in relation to the app here. As you can see, the first point is we want to attract good potential coach candidates to the game. Now, obviously, we're talking hopefully this at the grassroots level more so, with the potential of going into our more serious football or more higher levels of football for sure. Next, we want to make the certification that coaches need more straightforward. And lastly, we want to make coaching simple yet effective. Now, all of this has to do with the app, and we're going to kind of get into how and why. But these are the three kind of checkpoints we wanted to hit when we decided to, partner with Athlete Era and create this app. We wanted to look at what current barriers coaches were facing. What questions is this app going to answer? And one of the first things is certifications. To become a coach, often leagues have some sort of certification process. And what are the barriers to getting certified? Well, it takes time to get your certification, whether it's like some sort of e-learning or some class time. It costs money typically, so how much? And lastly, the confusion of it all. Some leagues and some provinces and stuff do better jobs than others, but at the end of the day, it's Football Canada who's kind of in charge of, we need to make the messaging very clear across our provinces to make sure everyone knows what they need to coach the level that they need. Secondly, it's the time commitment of coaches. Whether it's split to two, whether it's planning and preparation or the practices and games themselves, because you can't show up to a practice unplanned. And that's where this app really is going to address that issue in both the planning and preparation as well as the practices and games. So this app plans to tackle our time commitment issues with reducing their time and helping on the certification front from making things a bit more simple of what you need to do. Go ahead here. So how it can support coach development. So the first thing that this app it tackles is the ease of use. It tackles kind of the complicated side of coaching, making it a lot more straightforward. The point of this app is that coaches can pick this up, spend more of their time focusing on other aspects, whether it's like in-game or their practice elements, rather than focusing on how to prepare for a practice. So ideally, this is going to save a lot of time, and you're going to get a lot of good content, which is kind of the next point, is the quality of coaching information. You're going to be able to build off of what other coaches' knowledge, their drills, their skills, their practice plans, their plays, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We don't want to have every coach starting from scratch, but we want you to be like, good artists. They steal and they adapt, or sometimes they steal and they don't adapt. We want to give coaches the ability to have a good set of drills, practice plans, plays, like I said, from the get-go, to make them a lot more comfortable when they get onto the field or they get asked to coach, or if their coach doesn't show up and a parent has to take over. A parent can open this app, read the few little descriptions, the few little dot points, know what to look for, look at the diagrams, and be able to see exactly how to run this drill properly and efficiently. And going ahead. Next, it builds good habits. And kind of like I talked about with that visualization of where you are, what you've done, and where you're going, you'll be able to track your practice plans throughout the season, prior to the season. As we all know, when you're coaching a team, things change mid-season. You realize, oh, my team has a problem tackling, for instance, or with pursuit or throwing the ball. Well, prior to the season, you might not have known that. So when you're building your practice plans, you might have had a different thing in mind. But what's great about this app is you can look back and see where, oh no, we haven't done any pursuit drills. We haven't done any throwing drills, for instance. And you can see and develop and adapt as you're going forward. Builds good habits, because I think a lot of times, a lot of coaches, at least I can speak from my experience as an athlete, I think we've had some relatively unstructured practices, or maybe they haven't taken the time, because practice planning takes a long time and it's not easy. It's not simple. So that's something that this app can definitely help solve that issue. And lastly, it's a one-stop shop. Everything is just in one place to make coaching more accessible. If you want to share a message with your team, you can do that. If you want to share the drills, practice plans that are coming up, so you can know if you're going to be bag run that day, you'll be able to know that. So you can maybe lighten what you're going to eat for breakfast that day, or whatever it needs to be. As an athlete, maybe that's looking at the older age groups who have access to the app as well. But for parents as well, they can see this. It kind of eliminates that fog around what the coaches are doing and trying to achieve. I mean, coaches have enough on their plate. They can't always express every intention of their practices to the coaches or to the parents who care. So this is just a one-stop shop to do everything coaching for brand new coaches here. And going on. So that's it for my coach development portion right now. To see how the app actually works and to take you to the brains behind the app itself will be Corey Eatington here. So Corey, I'll pass it over to you to go over everything related to the app.
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott. Thank you for the introduction and kind of connecting everything back to, a lot of those coach development initiatives at Football Canada, and kind of, defining where this tool kind of fits in to the grander process. So I'm Corey from Athlete Era. I'm going to take you through the mobile app. So we're going to do, a quick walkthrough just to kind of see, the various features and tools within the app. This is intended to provide a quick overview of what the app can do. And then, following that, a new addition to the Football Canada mobile app this year is the actual web application that's specifically designed for organizations to be able to implement the app with their coaches and teams. So I'm going to introduce that and go through a bit of a more detailed walkthrough of how that actually works, so you can see that in action. And then we'll be able to kind of wrap it up at the end with a couple of questions. To kick it off, I'm going to kind of run through each of the main features of the mobile app. So the first one to get it started is, when coaches download the app, one of the main things in here are the content libraries. So, it comes preloaded with content resources for coaches that have been put together by Football Canada. I'll kind of run through just what each feature is, and then you'll see a visual there on the right-hand side to see what it looks like in action. All the content items come with some sort of media. We have some video, some images, and then text descriptions. And then two other benefits, to accessing content through the app is we try to make sure it's very easy to find what you need and what's appropriate based on the programs you're running, the age of the athletes you're coaching, all those sorts of things. So, there's various ways to filter the content, and then you can save content to your favorites to be able to access it at a later time. As I mentioned, the most important thing about these public content libraries is they're available to everybody. So when you download the app, create your account, everybody can see this content in the app. So, we're going to kind of dive into what it looks like. So if you tap on the drill library there at the top, you see a variety of drills. So this is all the preloaded content that comes for you within the app. You'll see as soon as you tapped on a drill there, you see the media item at the top, and then you have all the text components underneath. So kind of, broken up into the main areas of information associated with it. And A new thing is now you can actually click on the skill that's associated with that specific drill. And as soon as you do that, you see a similar layout there. So, media item of the skill happening. And then right underneath there, you got a bit of a breakdown. So, coaches can kind of see key coaching points for that specific skill that they're looking to develop within the drill, and then tap the back button, you're right back to the drill. So yeah, you can see everything in there, filter by what's been added most recently, most popular. So as more people favorite drills, they move to the top of the list. So all those various ways in which you can filter content. And then you'll also see here in the on this video, I'm going to jump into the just some of the plays in here as well. So I know before it was a little bit ugly, the plays were actually included in the drill section, but we've broken that apart now. So there's a designated section in the app for plays. And the reason I showed this one is actually because you'll see at the top there, this is actually the filter system we're going to be moving towards for all the drills and practice plans as well. So you'll basically see these little drop down menus at the top, and you'll just be able to click that drop down menu, and then you'll be able to filter all the content once you see it in that list. So it's a little bit more straightforward rather than some of the hidden menus that are in there right now. And then you open the content, similar feel, see the media item at the top, text description underneath. So yeah, we just want to make sure that, no matter what content you're navigating through, whether it be, drills, plans, plays, all those sorts of things, it has a consistent look and feel. And then the other main thing related to content in the app is you can customize your own content. So, for those coaches that are a little bit more knowledgeable, a little bit more experienced, the content libraries might be a place to, find a new idea, or maybe one positional coach couldn't be there. You have to step in, coach a position you're less familiar with. You can utilize it that way. But, if coaches want, when they're within the app, you can add your own drills. You can actually build out your own practice plans, all those sorts of things. And currently you can't add your own plays, but it is one thing, we're exploring for the future is, coaches being able to actually add their own plays in there. So you can have, your own kind of playbook library that looks in a similar way to the pre-built plays in the app. And then because this question comes up a lot, any custom content that a coach makes, that's private. So it's saved to their own coach's account. So any content a coach makes doesn't immediately go into those app libraries. That's essentially, content that's curated and managed by Football Canada. So anytime a coach makes their own content, it's just saved to that coach's account so they can view it. And basically they would be only able to share that content with other people that have joined up to their team on the app. So, you tap the drills there. So before we were in the library. So if you tap my drills, this would be, your coach's own custom content. So, you can see actually after you make that content, it looks the exact same as library content. So yeah, you basically, put in the text name, description. So it could just be, if all your coaches and everybody, knows the drill super well, it could just be a very brief description, and then if they don't know the content as well, that's where you would have, can add a little bit more of a thorough description, add a video, those sorts of things, which will just, save you a bit of time in the future if you're going to continue coaching, explaining kind of the same drills to new coaches every season. So that's creating a custom drill. And then we're also going to jump to creating custom practice plans. So, when you open up the practice plan tab there, we got the library of plans. So again, preloaded library of practice plans, all embedded with drills that you can see directly within the app, or you can jump over to the My Plans section. So anytime you make a plan, it's saved in here. You got your plan sections. Once you kind of make one plan, you can just use that little edit pencil to go in and basically modify whatever plan you want to do. So, you can see the different section of your plans. These, you can basically, within a section, you can have groups of drills. So it just helps, if you have one section where, whether it be a specific position, players separated by position within that section of practice, or, at the younger age groups, if you at least have an assistant coach and you're running, more station-based practice where, hey, coach one, you're going to do these drills, coach two, you're going to do these drills, then you can actually separate that. And then, when you build your plans, you can either add drills directly from the library there, or as we kind of showed there, you can add your own drills to the plan as well. So as soon as you hit that plus button beside one of the plans, it adds it, or you can, delete, edit all the drills from your plan. So really, when it comes to content customization, I would say like making your own custom plans is definitely the most common use of the content customization that we see. And then, the secondary fact is or I would say the secondary place is really the drills. If you want to add some of your own custom drills, you can do that as well. Third main feature to emphasize is content sharing. So, one of the other main value areas of the tool is to make it easier to share content with each other, which just makes it quicker to communicate and organize what you're actually going to do during practice. So, a couple things to quickly cover when it comes to sharing content. Basically, other people have to join up to your team to be able to actually share content with them through the app. And then there's two primary areas that you can share content. So you have a coaches group chat. So that's if you just wanted to share content with only other coaches on your team, you could do that directly through the coaches chat. Or if you wanted to share content, with everybody on your team, you can do that through the team chat as well. And then the final way is a little bit more of an organizational tool, but you can actually, assign your plans to your schedule. So, anybody that's kind of looking at the practice schedule, those sorts of things, then they can actually basically keeps track of, kind of like what you actually did at each practice when you assign and save that practice plan to the schedule itself. So yeah, we're going to run through that a little bit. So first thing, for people that join your team, it's pretty straightforward when you do it in the app. So we just tapped on this team button here at the bottom. That brings us to our team roster view, and you'll see that big invite members button. So as soon as you tap invite members, it'll basically display your team code. So anybody can download the app, sign up, tap join team, put in that code, and then they'll be added right here to your team roster. It'll ask them when they sign up, are you a coach? Are you a parent? Are you a player? And then once they answer it and enter in their information, it'll put them in the right spot here on the roster. And then another way just to help get that information out to people is if you tap on that share button, it'll basically bring up, options for you to share a link either through email, text message, those sorts of things, which will send basically a quick message and a link, and then anybody can open that link, and that will just basically give them instructions to download the app, enter that team code, and join their team. So that's how you join a team. So now, as people join your team, now you can actually share content with them. So for coaches, for example, I'm going to tap on that coach chat there at the top. As soon as I do that, I tap attachments, and then, it'll bring up, these are all the things I could attach in this chat. And I just pulled up a practice plan there, shared it in the chat, and then everybody, all the coaches on my team would be able to open that plan, see the section drop downs, see what drills I actually have added. And then if you have a full detailed, drill in there, you're actually able to navigate and see that right from within the plan. Or if you go to that team tab, the chat button is now in the top corner here for your team chat. So you'll be able to open that. And then, similarly, if I wanted to add a drill there, I could have a specific drill added, and then everybody on my team would be able to open and view that drill. So, pretty quick, easy way to be able to get content out to people, whether it be coaches or everybody on your team. And then the last thing to kind of run through is we also have some team management tools in here. So just to provide, I guess, a little bit of clarification on this, we know, that some coaches, some teams are using team management tools. We did get the feedback early on that not many people want to use multiple apps to do something very similar. So we really talked to a lot of coaches and said, okay, if it's a drawback having to use two different apps, what are kind of the main things that you're utilizing, within some of those team management apps. And, it was the group messaging and scheduling were, kind of unanimously the top two things, people utilize. So, we built some of those components in here to, again, kind of help create a single tool for coaches to utilize, throughout the entire season as they're working with their teams. So we kind of saw it before with the content sharing there, but you have group chat. And then the other main thing you have is announcements. So only coaches on the teams can post announcements. So, they all kind of get saved there. So it's, that spot you can post important things and make sure those messages don't get lost in a conversation thread. And then the team scheduling piece. So, you can add events to your schedule, sends notifications to everybody, they can RSVP whether or not they're going. So you can kind of keep track of attendance as a coach. And then a newer feature in there as well as we have calendar sync. So if you have parents or, players on your team and they want to essentially sync up the scheduled events that a coach has added within the app with Google Calendar, iCalendar, or Microsoft Outlook, they can do that. So they can basically view all the, event details on those other calendar tools, which I know for busy parents with a lot of kids is a very helpful tool to be able to see everything on the same schedule. And then with just your, team member view there, you can see, contact information of everybody that's on your team. So, we're just going to take a quick look here. We kind of showed it before, but, coach chat, you can post messages in there. Chat tools are pretty straightforward. There's a lot of them out there nowadays in apps, but, main point here is everybody on your coach is or everybody on your team as a coach is automatically in the coach chat. Everyone on the team is in the team chat. And then we have the announcements here. So I just tapped the news button on the bottom there. So again, you can type out an announcement. You can add, photos, attachments to your announcement, everything there. And then, everybody on your team gets a notification. Corey has posted an announcement, check it out now. And then they can go in there and see that information. And then with, the scheduling tool, it's, quite similar to any other scheduling tools you'll see in a team management app. So you can create an activity, practice game, or other. You give it a title, location, start time, any additional notes, and you can see at the bottom there, you can attach your plan to your practice on the schedule. And then we just tapped on an activity that we had already scheduled there. So you see it comes up at the bottom, tap on the activity, and then you can actually see, all the information that the coach has entered associated with that activity. And then under responses there, you can just see, who on your team has said whether or not they'll be going to that activity. And then a newer thing too is you can hit this remind now button, and it'll just send, if not many people are RSVPing, it'll just send a push notification to everybody on your team, reminding them to RSVP. And then I didn't show it either, but we also updated just some of the notification settings. So everybody will receive a push notification 24 hours before the activity starts. And then again, 2 hours before it starts. And if they want, they can basically turn those push notifications off or on. So they can receive to just get notified 2 hours before or not at all. But, just kind of those continuous push notifications to people's phones just makes, helps make sure they know of upcoming events and the details. And then the last one is just on this team view. You just see everybody on your team, essentially for players. So, for youth programs, 12 and under, the name of the player shows up here, and then the contact, which is their parent. So that's the person that's actually signing up and using the app, shows underneath. So, you're seeing the contact information for the parent of the player, not the player themselves. Whereas, if you're using it with an older, a team where players are 13 or over, they can actually create an account themselves on the app, join as a player. So then you're actually, seeing the contact information for that player. And then you can just tap on anybody's name, which, kind of brings up their profile. So, as we go forward, that'll be the place where we can just kind of add additional information with people's profile. So yeah, you can just kind of manage that person on the team. And then if you wanted to email them directly, if you tap that email button, it would just open your email browser and you can send them an email directly. Yeah, so that's, kind of the main features of the app. And then just a couple of other things, where to download, search Football Canada Mobile in the App Store or on Google Play. You'll be able to find the app. Other thing, basic versus premium. So everybody can download and sign up for the app for free. Basically, you'll see limited content and some features you're not able to access, like you're not able to share any of your own custom content as a coach. So you actually have to be on a premium account to do that. And through our partnership with Football Canada and all the provincial associations, essentially everybody, whether you're a coach or an organization, you get premium access at no direct cost because it's been included within your membership. So we'll kind of cover some details later on, how to utilize that. And then we just always, make sure you reference back to the Football Canada Mobile website, footballcanadamobile.com, or by searching Football Canada Mobile in Google to find, information about the app, where to download it, additional support resources, all those sorts of things. All right. So now we're going to get into the new piece. So this is the web app for organizations. So, this is really the place where if you're an organization administrator, you yourself aren't coaching a team, but you want to, help set your teams and coaches up with this resource so they can utilize it throughout the course of the season. This is really what that is focused on. So, this is something that's brand new for 2022. It'll actually just be live and available to the public at the end of this week. So, I'm going to take you through that. What it does, it's starting off pretty simple, pretty straightforward, which, is never a bad thing. So, really the main things you can do in here is that, when you create an organization account, you can make your teams, and any team created from that organization account is premium. So when you make a team from there, your coaches, as soon as they join, they're getting full access to the resource and all the tools. And then, as a setup tool, it sends the email invitations for everybody to sign up and join. So it makes that, a little bit easier, takes some of that administrative work, off the shoulders of any coaches. They don't have to go in and set things up. And then as you set it up as an organization, you can actually, keep track of who's actually joined up and is utilizing the app. So I touched on this a little bit. When you create an organization, like who should be creating an organization? Again, it's those administrators, wanting to set up the app for multiple teams, or, maybe you're a little bit of a different community program, running First Down program or something like that through Football Canada. And, maybe you have a couple of program leaders that want to utilize the resource to access, the First Down practice plans, those sorts of things. Then you can also go in here, set up your organization and create those groups. And then I'll be in touch too with each of the provincial sports organizations, but we definitely recommend that all of the PSOs create an account for their provincial association on here, which would essentially allow you to set up teams on the app, basically on the behalf of a club. I know all of the provinces are a bit different, but some you might have some really big clubs, leagues that have the resources to be able to kind of create their own organization account on here and set up the app. Or for others, you might want to just have them send you the emails and names of all their head coaches for the teams, and then you would be able to set them up on the app through your organization account on the web app. So creating teams, really the only information you need to create a team is the name of the team, and then basically a team owner or head coach email address, because it needs somebody to send basically the email invitation to initially activate that team. And then depending on how big your organization is, we also have a division tag there. So it just allows you, if you have a large number of teams, in the future, to kind of be able to quickly sort through those teams by division. And when you're making teams in here, you can either make them one at a time, just directly within the web application, or you could create multiple teams by uploading a spreadsheet. So if you're using a league registration software tool platform, there's a lot of them out there, then most of them allow you to at least, export that information as a spreadsheet. So, you would be able to just copy and paste the columns you need into a spreadsheet, upload them into here, and it'll make all your teams for you. And then basically, as you create a team, it sends that email to whoever you classified as the team owner, and they will be instructed to basically sign up and join the team. So, you have to at least send it to a team owner, and then you do have the option here. If you want to send the invitation to other team members, you can basically upload a spreadsheet of their emails as well, or they can also basically join up to that team through the process that I showed when we were going through the app there, where, essentially that head coach just shares a link with everybody on their team, or just shares their team code, and everybody can join up. So, it's kind of up to basically the organization, if you want to just set it up for your coaches and kind of let them decide if they're, going to use it just with their coaching staff, or, as an entire team tool. It's kind of, up to you. So you have the option to do either. And just make sure, if you've added somebody, they're like, hey, I still haven't got the email. Just make sure you do check spam, because sometimes, the emails, because they have links in them, can get flagged and go to the spam folder. So, this is essentially what it looks like when you get an email invitation. Hi coach, they get the instructions, click sign up now. And then that brings them to this page, where they click get started. And then, they basically put in their email address and password. So, if they've never used the app before, that just creates a new account for them, joins them up to the team. If they have used the app before, they just type in their email address and password already associated with their account, and then that'll join them up to the team as well. And then they'll just be directed, if they don't already have the app, to download it, so they can actually view their team through the mobile app itself. And then if you invite other team members, like I said, it's actually almost the exact same process as if you're inviting people from within the app. Basically, all you're doing is sending the mass email out to all those people, instead of having the coach do it. So, they'll, again, basically get a link. It'll open a page with instructions to download the app, enter in their team code, and then they'll be joined up on the team. And then once people join up to the team, you can basically, they'll actually show up on each, you can basically see like a team member view. So you can see who's actually joined up on each team, and then see the contact information of people who have joined. So whether they're coaches or players or parents on the team, you'll see all that there. And then you can also basically delete teams from in there. And then there's also a tool that allows you to kind of manage, I guess, your team season to season. So as soon as, season's done, you can archive all of your teams, and set up some new ones. So, I'm going to just quickly switch over here, and just kind of run you through what it actually looks like when we're doing it here. So, when you go to sign up and make an organization, you have to put in your basic information, email, password, make sure you're older than 14, and sign up. So yeah, once you've signed up, the only thing you can do is start by creating an organization. So you give your organization a name, choose your type of organization, size, small, medium, large, and then select your location of your organization. We're in Canada, we're in Alberta, and where should we be in Alberta? Bonnyville. And then you hit start free trial, and it brings you directly into your new organization account. So yeah, this is the, initial page that you'll land on. It just has some, explainer text that kind of walks you through what to do. As I mentioned there, the first thing you need to do is create a new season. So we're going to call this spring flag. You can, kind of manage your seasons however you want, depending on how your organization runs your programming. And then as soon as we start this season, we're now on this screen. So this is where we basically can now set up our teams. So, you have this add teams and coaches button at the bottom. So you can either add teams individually, or like I said there, upload that Excel spreadsheet to create multiple teams. If you are uploading a spreadsheet, you can just hit this download template. It basically gives you a templated Excel file that shows you the information that you have to put in there. So, if we add a team individually here, just gonna make this Raiders one. So this is where you would put in that team owner. So essentially, whoever you make the team owner is the one person on the team who can essentially kind of like remove people from their team or change permissions of people who have joined the team. So, that's really the only additional thing that a team owner gets. That basically just helps that person be able to kind of manage, I guess, what's going on at the team app level without, having to necessarily go back all the way up, like contacting an administrator because like I accidentally, joined the team as a coach instead of a parent or something like that. So that's really, when you're assigning, a team owner, that's really all you're doing in terms of giving them permissions. And then division names, you can basically just type it in and it'll, make it a tag. So, however you set up your divisions, whether it be by age group, program, it's up to you. And then as soon as I tap add an invite, it basically sends an email for that person, as we saw before, to join the team. And then all the teams that you add are just displayed here in this team card view. So, this is built on the same software framework as the app itself. That's why everything looks, feels, functions the exact same way. And then I can also show you. So if we tapped on import with Excel here, already downloaded and filled out a template for the teams I wanted to upload. So uploaded that file. You'll see all my team names in there, coach's email, team owner's email, and the division that they've been assigned. So, as soon as I hit continue, it creates all of those teams and sends the invites. We've done it with creating as many as 300 teams in a single Excel file, and it works fine. So yeah, you'll be able to see all that on there. And then, yeah, basically, I created a second account where I had already joined a team. So I'm just going to swap back to that one. You'll see all these ones say 0 on the bottom because nobody has actually joined that team yet on the app. But in this one, we went through and joined it. So when I, tap on that team card, it actually opens up the team. So then I can see, the information. Basically, once coaches, players have actually joined the team, it shows up on there. you can open, see their email contact information. And then if I wanted to, like I said, if I wanted to send email invites to additional team members on this team, just hit that invite button. Again, I can just upload a list of email addresses, and it will send it to all of them. And, I know it'll come up, but we are working on a way for organizations, like large organizations, that you could upload a single list of members for every single team rather than having to go into each individual team, because I know that would be very tedious for larger organizations. And then once you're inside here, you can just edit. You could edit any of the team name, division if you needed to, or delete the team. Those are really the main things you can do from in here. And then you also see the team code there at the bottom. So say you're also the assistant coach on a team. If you wanted to, because you have all the team codes for each team, you could go into the app, tab join team, and enter that code, and you would also be able to join these teams directly through the app. So, and then the last thing to cover, is the way it works. Is it starts everybody on a free trial. So when you create an organization account, you can get in there and set things up, and then just to continue utilizing it, because it sets everybody up on premium versions of the mobile app so they can access all the content and features. You just have to use this pick your plan button. And then when you go to here, so everybody, is getting, as long as you're a member, you're basically getting free access to this pay per team premium account. So, once in here, the last thing we're kind of linking up is when you go continue to payment, it'll just basically bring you to a checkout page, and then your PSO will provide you with basically a promotional code, which will give you 100% discount, and then you'll be able to continue utilizing the full version, and all your coaches and teams will continue to have access to premium accounts on the mobile app. So yeah, that is a run through of organization accounts and how you can set up teams. So, it's a lot of more kind of basic management type stuff, but, the main thing that we're really excited about too, like I said, because this is built on the same framework and we have it there, like in the near future, coaches, if they want to, they'll be able to access, you'll be able to access essentially the Football Canada mobile app through your browser, if you want to. So, some of those tools like making your own plans and adding drills that require a lot of typing, those sorts of things, you'll be able to do it. You'll have the option to do it at your computer as well, which is quite a bit more efficient. So yeah, that concludes the walkthrough and live demo of the organization account. A couple of other things we're just going to touch on is a couple of tips on implementation. This question has come up a little bit, but how can we utilize this within coach training in terms of utilizing the tool to introduce it to coaches, to get them familiar with it. And then also at the same time, you can utilize it as a tool to make in-person training sessions a little bit more personalized and interactive, when you're working with new coaches. So, we've talked to some people that have tried it out, and this is kind of our recommended method of doing it. You're essentially, as the training facilitator, the person running the coach's clinic, the training session, as it pertains to the mobile app, you're really going to be the head coach, and then, have all of the coaches join as players. So, in terms of, I guess, setting it up before the organization, before the session, we can work with the provinces on this. They could either, we could set up an account for, if you have one person that's running, all of your coaching clinics and training sessions, that sort of thing. We would be able to set up an organization account for them so they can just go in there and basically, make their team for that specific training session, add the coaches' email so they'll all be invited to join the team as players. Or, again, they could just post that team code at the start of the training session. All the coaches download the app, join team, enter that code, and then they'll all be onto the app. So it basically, it sets it up, gets everybody in there, gets everybody access so they can utilize the tool during the rest of the training session. And during the session, kind of some ways we've seen people utilize it is, of course, with all those content libraries, if you're going into a little bit more of the applied components, depending on, what the training session is, everybody can obviously, as coaches at the training session, you can reference content in the app and, coaches can find it, look at it at their own pace, or, if they're more interested in, various position groups or like different like types of drills, they can, find content and review it and look at stuff that's, most appealing to them. And then, for some of the training that includes a practice planning component, that's like, as we saw before, a facilitator, we've seen facilitators go in and basically kind of like make a plan, and then share it with other people through the app. So then everybody can kind of reference, walk through it. You can obviously have them try making their own plan, in the app. So there's a lot of ways that you can, kind of like utilize the tool. So I think mainly it'll just also come down to those running the sessions, those being the facilitators, being a little bit familiar with the tool, because then, based on how they run their sessions, the types of activities they do, they'll be able to see where it aligns. Again, these are just some general ideas. And then again, once coaches are now into the app, following the training session, they can, of course, go and create their own team if their organization, doesn't have an account and hasn't created one for them. And then, they remain on that team that I guess they joined as like the training, certification team. So if that facilitator did share, some example plans, or hey, these are like really my top 3 favorite drills for working on, this specific thing, then coaches can reference back to that at a later point throughout the season when they might need it. So they can, because you can swap between teams within the app. So, kind of provides that take home resource, but also a way that they can reference back to some of the content that facilitator might have shared with them during the session. And then a couple implementation tips, more so just, from community clubs and programs, in terms of what we've seen work for organizations implementing this tool. Preseason, definitely try to set up those teams a few weeks before coaches actually begin practicing. That's when they're kind of, I guess, in that stage where they're just kind of thinking, how am I going to organize practices this year? What are things going to look like? You want to really make sure to get the tool in their hands at that time or a little bit earlier, rather than necessarily, like we started practicing, a week ago, or like we're already kind of in the swing of season. And now, we're learning about this new tool. And then I guess generally from a, program philosophy standpoint is, just making practice planning an expectation. So just as you run your programs, just kind of like setting out, in terms of how I guess coaches are expected to kind of run your programming, just like really advocate that you should be prepared and make a plan prior to getting to practice, rather than necessarily, kind of figuring it out as you show up, and maybe just kind of doing, the same 2 or 3 drills every practice throughout the duration of the season. We've also seen some others in season, kind of if you do any email updates, those sorts of things with coaches, with your members, build in some sort of messaging to kind of, I guess, reference to the app, just kind of reminding coaches that it's available to them, making sure that they know it's there, or, you, depending on how far you want to, go with it, you could actually look up and find, some of your favorite drills on the app and kind of put that into some email content. Again, just basically ways to just kind of remind coaches that this is available for them. Some things you can do after the season just to, continue to, I guess, utilize the tool to support the growth of your programs. We definitely recommend, including a link to the Football Canada mobile website on your website, so coaches can find the tool. We know a lot of organizations now are starting, to, even on their own website, kind of have a little section on them, for coaching resources. So definitely we feel that this is a very good resource to be able to just kind of plug in, and if nothing else, just at least directing coaches to here, we feel is a very good starting point, rather than necessarily, kind of having a coaching resources page and then it has, one YouTube video, or, it's left blank. And then, really the main advocate, or I guess the main thing that we've seen too, is just, as soon as a parent who's maybe considering coaching, goes to that website and, they see, oh, like, what sort of if I'm going to coach, like, what sort of resources do they have me? Like, how are they going to help me along? And then, they come across this that basically has everything very straightforward and laid out for them. It's, I think, a very good way to kind of lower that barrier of entry to really get that parent committed to coaching, rather than necessarily, they start looking around, what kind of support am I going to have? I've never coached. Maybe I've played football once in high school 15 years ago. So, like, showing that, your organization, hey, we have a tool to support you, even if you're brand new to coaching, I think goes a really long way. Yeah. So just in summary, quick takeaway points here before we open the floor for questions. The mobile app piece, mainly it's a tool for coaches to support them throughout the season. And, really the goal and motivation behind the tool, is to support quality coaching delivery by making it efficient to practice plan, share information with other coaches, and manage your team and keep everybody organized. The Football Canada web app, the complementary tool for organizations to the mobile app, is basically for organizations to provide a really simple way to set this tool up and get this resource into the hands of your coaches and teams. And then also make sure that administrators can just kind of check in and make sure that, coaches are utilizing the tool that's been provided there for them. And as Scott touched on there, kind of like why Football Canada is, partnered with us and working behind this tool. As you can see, all their goals surrounding coach development, wanting to get more people involved in coaching, make it less confusing, make it straightforward, make it accessible. All those things, require tools. And at the end of the day, digital tools and software is, great at making things more efficient. So that's what we're here to do. So Yeah, the very last thing, I guess to leave with, I guess as a summary, we like to say great coaching support drives player retention, and retention drives long-term performance. So, especially when we're talking at the grassroots level, if you don't retain players, nobody's going to improve. Nobody's going to perform at the older ages when it matters. And, coach development and support is, the one thing that you can invest in that's, really proven to help organizations, retain players. So, that's just kind of how we approach it with this tool. So yeah, thank you for watching. Scott, do you have any final things to add before we open it up for a couple questions here?
I think the thing I just really want to punch home is that, you've seen now, if you watch this presentation, that like how great this app can be and what it can do. Just like with any piece of technology or new app, new tool that's being used, there is that bit of a hill. So PSOs or league organizers, please get this word out. We're asking you to do a bit of work, because after that, once people start getting the hang of it, your work becomes easy. Your work just becomes easier if you put in like a bit of work at the beginning to get people on this app. It's a small hill to climb, and Athlete Eric, Corey, and the folks there have done a lot of the work to make it as simple as possible. So if you can get this in the hands of your coaches and parents, I think you're sailing easy. I just kind of wanted to emphasize and punch that home.
Yeah, definitely. Really appreciate that. We definitely realize at the end of the day, it's like implementing any, new tool is going to be a little bit of change. And, we try to make sure that like once the tool is in people's hands, it's simple and straightforward to use. But, there's always going to be a little bit of a implementation, setup process whenever you're doing something new. So yeah, we try and make it easy, but requires a little bit of a little bit of effort and commitment from the organizations. Awesome. Well, for those watching this recording online, thank you for watching, and you see our emails there at the bottom, so definitely reach out if you have any questions.